Darren Till's a bit fat, he can't make weight, and he's probably fucking racist, so I have to cave his face in. I'ma beat this motherfucker, he shouldn't even be in front of me. Got pushed up to the top, he want my spot, so now he's gonna meet a beast. I'm the chosen one, I hit like a loaded gun. That right when I throw you done, one strike and he's on the run, and I'm coming for you. Yeah, I'm coming for you, booger eating motherfucker. You could put roids in your boogers, but you still couldn't beat me, cause I'm one of the greatest and you can't see me like Stevie. And yeah, I'm coming for greatness. If they want to try me, come test me. And that's for Nick and Nate Diaz, Colby, you're even GSP, because I'm ready. And don't come in heavy, little bitch. I don't really want no friends. I don't really want no friends, no. I said I don't want no friends. I said I don't want no fucking friends. Tyron, why you crying? Long as I make weight, we're finding. We will fight this weekend, we will find if I'm as weak as you say. But I do say if I win, then no excuses. No 30% bullshit like your boy Kamaru Usman. You're the champ right now, but we both know that I'm the future. Gorilla Smash 2018, Booger Bash 2018, it's the movement. UFC 228, let's do it. Man, I promise I've been getting sick of this motherfucking crackhead, dick pill ass looking boy. I'm about to have to serve him up. Hey, give me a number 3. Large size, extra fries. Jon Jones in love with the cocoa. He shoot that shit right through his nose. Then he sandblast all the hoes. Blasted bitches. Jon Jones in love with the cocoa. Jon Jones is a bitch. Jon Jones got limp dick. Or is it just them steroids, ho? Anywhere you see some coke, you see Jon Jones. Look, there he go. There he is, ho. Gusselson beat you, you fucking crackhead. Had you in the hospital, snapping pics, looking half dead. And that first fight was a fluke. Oh shit, I ate too much. I think I'm about to puke. Daniel Cormier loves ho-hos, cake, chicken, Snickers, Reese's bars, and them Rolos. Yeah. This fat bitch can't get no hoes, cause he done stretched out all his old clothes. Yeah. I'm about to come take Fatty's belt at the press conference, looking at me like I'm a patty melt. I'm human, bro. So somehow I hope you make the weight. I ain't going for that shit that you pulled off at Towel Gate. Fat bitch. Full time family. What's going on? This is what they call an impromptu out of motherfucking nowhere live stream. Like we're back at it, like back when we used to grind every single motherfucking day when we could afford to. But yo, we're here. There was a lot of news yesterday I wanted to talk about. Jon Jones' CSAC hearing, the one championship TNT deal. Salute the Fights with Friends who sent me something about that. Like, yo, did you see that one championship signed with TNT and they're going to be competing with the UFC ESPN debut? I said, what? That's interesting. Want to talk about that? Dominick Cruz, a convenient injury. We got to talk about that. Tyron Woodley refuting Dana White, saying he turned down a fight at UFC 233. We got to talk about that, because if he did not turn this fight down, keep in mind, UFC 233 needs a main event. Dillashaw vs. Cejudo was recently moved to ESPN+. That was supposed to be at UFC 233 in Anaheim. Now we still need a main event. Could we potentially be seeing Woodley vs. Covington? That'd be an epic switch. I mean, either way, I want to see both fights, but we could be getting this fight sooner than we all thought. I'm down. Also on the show, we're going to be talking about Jimmie Rivera booked to fight Aljamain Sterling, our motherfucking dog. Big fan of Aljo. And then the medical suspensions from UFC 230. The beautiful Brian Ortega got his face busted up, no head of row. All right, guys. So first, though, let's get everything on the screen. Then we'll pull up the chat, give some shout-outs. But you guys know we got to get the motherfucking full-time family bankroll on the motherfucking screen. Oh, real quick. Salute to Giving Surname. He got his mother-freaking full-time MMA blue belt overnight. He's been grinding. He's been grinding hard. You know, a little slower than some others, but regardless, the work was as valuable. It's not about win. It's about the effort you put in. And my boy Giving Surname's been grinding as long as, you know what I'm saying, as some of the black belts. He just got a lot of shit going on. But ultimately, he's here now. He's a blue belt. So round of applause for my motherfucking dog Giving Surname. But yo, we'll be talking about this fight bankroll on tomorrow's show or Friday's show. We're going to make our bet. I don't even know who we're... Hopefully y'all want to bet on Kevin Lee because that's my dog. But it's up to the family. It's up to the family. I'm going to let y'all vote. We'll do that Thursday, Friday. But that's on the screen. So, what is left? We are going to pull up the chat, give some shout-outs, and then get this news out the way so I can get the fuck to work. Let's go. Oh. And this is an impromptu stream. I'll probably, after this live stream is over, I'll probably shut it down, take it off of YouTube, and put it over on Patreon. Just because it was one that's impromptu, it wasn't scheduled, just extra content. I'll probably load that over there. So if you want to see this on replay, that's where it'll be. If you're here for the live show, salute to you. Thanks for rocking with your boy. Leon Davison in the building. London calling. Mr. Perfect 2005. Here we go. My brother from another mother, John Doe. The wrench squad in full effect. My boy Jay Skills in the building. Brown belt on deck. What? Let's go. Salute to Jay Skills. Kim. Joan. Uzi. Getting waved tonight. Proper pub crawl. Oh, snaps. Take a couple shots for me, Kim Jong Uzi. Anyone know the weather? Anyone know whether the ESPN change? Will it change in the UK? Will BT Sport have the pay-per-view, etc.? That's a good question, but UFC is one of the last people really in the business of pay-per-views. If you listen to, you might not have, Oscar De La Hoya was recently on it, I think Undisputed or First Take, one of those sports shows, and he was talking about the pay-per-view model. He was like, look at the deal Canelo signed. He wouldn't be getting he got a $350 million deal with no pay-per-views. Like, streaming is the future, so UFC might be last on that. They might, you know what I'm saying? They might not get rid of the pay-per-views as quick, but I do think it'll come eventually. I don't think pay-per-views will be here much longer for the UFC and the streaming era. John Doe says, does anyone see the meme where Jones sneezed on Derek Lewis? No, I didn't see that. Jon Jones is back. Remix, says Jay Skills. Yeah, we got to do Jones versus Gustafson. We got to. Kim Jong Uzi says, anyone know? Oh, I already read that.
Alright, guys, so let's get into the show. Hey, full-time, how does one get promoted to a belt, says Mr. Perfect 2005. It's kind of more of just a joke. It's not really like anything. You don't have to, you don't get special treatment for having a belt. I just appreciate it. That's just the name for the different tiers over on Patreon, man. That's just like, if you support the channel with $5 a month, that's a blue belt. 10, it's just like that. 15 is a brown belt, 20 is a black belt. Nothing crazy. I'm just having a little fun with it. You know what I'm saying? For the people that do help support the channel, because I do appreciate it. But that's what it is. It's just the people that are over on the Patreon at the full-time MMA dojo. What? Alright, guys, let's talk about some MMA. Jon Jones granted license by California State Athletic Commission to compete at UFC 232. May participate in additional VADA drug testing. Now, this is interesting. Jon Jones, I figured he was already back. He's already booked a fight. Looks like he did have one more hurdle to clear. Well, it's cleared. He's able to fight Alexander Gustafsson. I do believe it was a temporary. They said it was temporary with the pass that they gave him. Yeah, Jon Jones' license is temporary, contingent on him putting together a community service plan with the California State Athletic Commission, after which his license will be fully reinstated. So after he puts together the community service plan, he'll be fully reinstated. But keep in mind, this is just with the California State Athletic Commission. Jon Jones still is in that deal ongoing with USADA that allowed him to come back to where they can always pull his card at any minute. Like, what, Jon Jones? Like, what, you're not cooperating anymore? Snap. Because remember, they said Jon Jones being cleared by USADA was contingent upon him cooperating with USADA. So, Jon Jones still not all the way out of hot water, but he's cleared to fight Alexander Gustafsson in UFC 232, which is awesome because the fight's booked and we've all already been looking forward to it. Now, one thing, Commissioner Martha Shin, another thing interesting from this, Commissioner Martha Shin Urquidez proposed that Jon Jones enroll himself for a 3 to 4 month additional drug testing with VADA. And this is what she said. I know you said that you're happy USADA has established that you didn't do this intentionally in your last test and all of that, but you and I both know there's a large number of people who have some doubts, right? I'm one of them. They're out there. It's not just a little bit of doubt. There's people who have serious doubts over this. So I, for one, would like to put those doubts to sleep and put them away once and for all, and for people to believe you, that you are talented and that you are the greatest and that you can fight just as clean, that this is Jon Jones, and put those doubts away once and for all. So I have this idea, and I'm just going to put it out there and see if you'll agree to it. If you like it, take it. If you don't, send it right back. She said, I want to make it sure that it's clear that everyone understands what we're saying. We're agreeable in principle, of course, that the devil's in the details. We need to see what exactly it is that we're agreeing to so far. The VADA testing is for, so they test what their restrictions are. So what she's saying, essentially, is, all right, you're cleared by USADA and stuff, but what she's suggesting, and she's not even telling him to do it, but she's saying, if you really want to clear your name, I really think this would help. Not just USADA, enroll in VADA as well, because USADA is paid by the UFC. So she said people are always going to look at that as a conflict of interest. People, if you want to prove you're the greatest, it's not probably people that your critics and the people that doubt you and that look at the failed USADA test and have questions and doubts, they're not going to believe you just because USADA said, oh, he's back. But what you could potentially do is enroll in VADA, which is not paid by the UFC. So that way, when you're passing all your VADA test and your USADA test, it leaves no doubt. Nobody can say, look, let's say Jon Jones beats Gustafsson. No one can say, oh, yeah, it's because he fucking worked out a deal with USADA, like snitching. He still was on. No one can say that because you were in VADA, you were in USADA, and you beat all your tests. So you would be a clean athlete and you could let everyone know you're the greatest. So she just suggested it. She didn't say you have to sign up with VADA. She just suggested it. If you really want to help clean up these doubts of your legacy, VADA might be something you consider. She said, I would suggest that in my humble opinion, right now I'm giving my humble opinion, it's better if Mr. Jones voluntarily decides to do this and is not compelled to do it. You understand? We're really hoping that you're going to work this out and do this for your own sake. I think Commissioner Martha made it clear to you what's at stake here for you. So they're going to see if, And they said the California State Athletic Commission will even pay for the additional VADA drug testing if Jon Jones agrees to it. They're like, and listen, you ain't even got to pay for it. We'll pay for it. We're gonna help you out here. Like, they don't gotta fucking pay for that. But they continue to say, I do not think Mr. Jones is intentionally a doper. This was Andy Foster. He said, I just don't believe it. If he is, he's the worst doper in combat sports. He fails the one test he knows is coming, right? He passes all his random tests. You know you're getting tested after the fight. You fail that one. Yeah, that's why before USADA said it doesn't make much sense how Jon Jones failed this drug test. And that's why they said it probably wasn't intentional. Even though it's the second failed drug test, they said it didn't make much sense. Because you pass all the random drug tests and you fail the one that you know is coming. What the fuck stupidity would that be? So I hear where they're coming from. But just the way the facts stand, man, in my mind, I'm with the lady. Like, if you can go through USADA and VADA, like an independent drug testing company, ahead of your next fight and still win it in a decisive fashion, even though the first fight with Gustafsson wasn't decisive, so I don't know how that's going to happen. But, like, whenever he came back and knocked out Daniel Cormier, I was excited. Like, yo, he's back. He's clean, and he's back. He did it. He's the GOAT. Put that fucking failed drug test. Don't even ever talk about it again. It was a dick pill. Okay, nothing wrong with that. He's fucking back. He just knocked out DC clean. Because going into that fight, I was like, oh, shit, since USADA came in, the only fight Jon Jones has had is against OSP, and he didn't look great. So I just didn't know how Jon Jones was going to look in that fight. So when he knocked out Daniel Cormier, I was like, he's back. Let's go. Then he fails the fucking drug test, and I just, what the hell? He's not back. What the hell happened? So now we're at a point where when I felt like he was back, he failed the drug test. So I'm still at the point to where how is he going to look when he's clean? I don't know. I'm still at where I was before the second fight with Cormier. So, interesting situation. We'll see how all this plays out, man. UFC 232, Alexander Gustafsson is not somebody you want to fight if you're not prepared to be a light heavyweight champion. To beat Alexander Gustafsson is going to take one of the best light heavyweights in the world. The Jon Jones that fought against Ovin St. Preux, I don't think that guy can show up against Alexander Gustafsson and pull out a win. You know, so I'm really looking forward to that fight. But Jon Jones granted his license. He's cleared to go by the CSAC, and that's good for UFC 232. Now, a little interesting thing that I didn't even come across, and because I haven't had as much time to dedicate to looking at all the other websites and digging through MMA Reddit and shit for cool little stories, but somebody started doing a research, and they said there was a technical issue online with Brock Lesnar's drug test number discrepancy. Skeptical hippo eyes. I think as soon as Brock Lesnar re-entered the USADA testing pool, everyone said, Fraggy? Brock Lesnar's gonna pass USADA test? Okay, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So, you know, people, I'm sure there's people that comb through that USADA information, and that's what it looked like happened here. In a statement sent to MMA Fighting on Tuesday, USADA spokesperson Adam Woolard chalked it up to a technical error. It says USADA updates the athlete test history page of the UFC USADA website on a weekly basis. During an update on the week of October 15th, we experienced a technical issue that resulted in the information on the page being displayed incorrectly. The correct test history for the athlete is one test, not two. The issue has been fixed, and the numbers on the website are all accurate. We're still investigating the specific technical issue that led to the error. So, for you guys, I'm just curious of what's going on here. Jedi Goodman on Twitter reported, he said, as of October 17th, Brock Lesnar's drug test count is 6. That's up 2 from last week. So what happened on USADA's website? Brock Lesnar was sitting at 4 USADA tests. And then all of a sudden, he jumped up to 6. I'm like, what the hell? He just got tested twice out of nowhere? But then the number went back down to 5. So they're like, wait, did you test him twice? What's going on with Brock Lesnar's testing numbers here? Why is it changing like this? It doesn't happen for any other fighter, and you're already skeptical when it comes to Brock Lesnar and USADA. So people pointed that out, and they said it's just a technical issue. You can imagine that, right? You're going to fucking type in a 5 and you hit a 6. That literally happens all the time. Now, a clerical error like that could happen in anywhere that you're using a fucking computer. Like, you could just press the typo. a typo. Now, it's just really awkward, you know, and not convenient, but interesting that it happened to be a typo on Brock Lesnar's USADA test, right? Because that's always going to smell fishy. A typo on Brock Lesnar's USADA fucking test? Oh, like, that's like pressing did he fail? That's like pressing a no instead of a N instead of a Y. Oops, typo. No, he didn't. So, USADA came out and said it was a technical issue. Someone else went a little farther, Dim Space on Twitter. And they're like, okay, well, how come you guys have never made a technical issue before? He said, I've gone through USADA UFC's XML with a fine-tooth comb. I didn't even know tooth comb was, I thought it was like fine-tooth comb, 3 different words. Tooth comb, okay. With a fine-tooth comb. Only Lesnar's test numbers have dropped between 28-11 and 7-12. No other fighters affected. Sample is from 17-10 reporting period. 2 samples reported that week originally. 1 has vanished or been removed. So it seems like, according to some of the people on Twitter, they're like, was Brock Lesnar tested twice? Because it says he was tested twice over the last week. One of them got taken back. So you could imagine conspiracy Twitter, I guess, MMA Twitter, whatever. They were like, okay, so what? Did he like fail the drug test and you guys take it off the record? Like, oh, we gotta hide that one because why did you take that test off? It's a little fishy. I hear where they're coming from, but USADA, they do have their credibility on lock. They do seem to be integrable. They try to keep that intact with the Jon Jones situation. They didn't just let him back. He had to cooperate, right? Like, USADA seems to be doing their job correctly. So I'm not going to sit here and just question USADA, and especially when you realize how possible it is to just press the wrong number. Like, they're right next to each other, 5 and 6. Like, you could just press the wrong number there, honestly. Moving on. A little more on Jon Jones' test. I'm not going to stay here too long. Andy Foster just said that USADA shouldn't decide UFC punishments. I mean, you can imagine USADA and UFC, they work together, so it's like the judge and the jury. We find out if you're guilty, we hand out the punishments, we do all of the above. So just maybe trying to vie for a little bit of a, who even knows, a little power struggle. Like, if they want to hand out the punishments, would they get the fines? A lot of shit that's really not any of my business or that I give a fuck about. Just something that the CSAC also came out of the Jon Jones hearing. But moving on to shit I do care about, actually interesting fighting news for me. One championship set to air on TNT after signing the UFC broadcasting deal. Now, I didn't fucking expect this, and we're going to be talking about fighters after this. But, you know, Demetrius Johnson, former UFC flyweight kingpin. Sage Northcutt seems to be signing with one championship. Eddie Alvarez, all of these guys have recently potentially signed or been traded to one championship. And you know, that's an Asian-based promotion, and you're like, well, shoot, it's a great opportunity for them. You're happy for the fighters that have good opportunities outside of the UFC. But I thought, shoot, I don't know when the next time is I'll get to see a Demetrius Johnson fight. I don't know if I'm honestly staying up till 3 in the morning to watch a flyweight Grand Prix, you know? I mean, if I got Red Bulls and I'm just up, yeah, but if I'm asleep after work, I'm not fucking setting no alarm for 4 in the morning so I can watch Demetrius beat up, you know what I'm saying? Some Asian flyweights, like, and they're not all Asian, clearly, but you get the point. It's not gonna wake me up, but and you gotta find the stream and all of that shit. Good luck. Not if I've been at work busting my ass. Either way, now they signed a TNT deal, and what's super interesting about this TNT deal to me is it goes into effect in 2019, and it kicks off January 19th. Now, January 19th, I'm pretty sure is the same day, if I'm not mistaken, UFC ESPN Plus 1. UFC January 2019. I'm pretty sure they're going to be competing with the UFC. Let's see. Oh, we got some dates. Yep, January 19th. ESPN Plus 1. This is the UFC. This is Cejudo versus Dillashaw. This is ESPN Plus. Remember, they were going to fight at 2:33. They got called back to the Barclays January 19th. So, one championship is going to be on TNT. I don't know if they're going to have Demetrius Johnson fight that day. Who knows? Maybe Eddie Alvarez, Brandon Vera, Sage Northcutt. Who knows? But they're going to be competing with the UFC that day. UFC will be on ESPN Plus, the paid app. And this will be on free TV. So you really get to pick and choose what you want to watch. But one championship will be on TNT. So it looks like we'll be able to actually watch some of these fights that you're interested in. Potentially Grand Prix. I mean, with these other organizations, I think that's where they're going to draw me in. That Grand Prix shit with the LFA, I'm loving that. Like, the idea, like, regular season, you make it to the tournament. Once you get in the tournament, you fight twice that night. And then you fight for the belt or the $1 million. I really like that. So, let's look. We got a few more things to talk about. Given Surname says one, we'll probably do some tape delay shit like Bellator did. Yeah, it's going to have to be like some tape delay shit, I would imagine. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you're interested in just watching the fights, like if you're not on an MMA website looking at the immediate results, that probably is still fine. Like if you're not going out your way to look for the one championship results, you probably won't hear about them. It's different, like if you're on Bellator or UFC and it's a tape delay, because it's like you see those headlines. Oh, Michael Chandler just fucking knocked this guy. You see those headlines, but if fucking, you know, you might not necessarily, those ones might not jump out. So, but yeah, it's probably gonna have to be some sort of tape delay. John Doe says, I'd like to piss on the people who gave that punishment out. Stamina MC, Sao Paulo calling. My boy's still down there in Sao Paulo, Brazil. What's going on? Jay Skill says, full time, can you touch on the subject of Dana White hating on Tyron? Talking like he's never wants to fight. Yeah, man. Dana, I don't know what it is. Motherfucker's racist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But Tyron Woodley and Dana White, their relationship, I mean, over the past few years, has just really been like they butt heads. Like, it's crazy. They'll be at each other's necks in the media. Yo, this motherfucker don't like to fight. Yo, he's lying. They do me like this because I'm a black champion. And then the next week they'll be at a Patriots game. What up? And then they'll be back at it like, yo, Dana White, I'm trying to, you know, my shoulder's injured. He's like, no, you're a boring fighter. And then the next week, Tyron Woodley's at Dana White's son's, or his son is at his son's birthday party. It's like, so they beef and then they make up. And they beef and then they make up. Recently, and what the vibe I'm getting is it feels like Dana White wants that belt off of Tyron Woodley's shoulder. That's the vibe I get. It feels like Dana White wants that belt off of Tyron Woodley's shoulder. Because, for one, he's giving everybody an opportunity to try and take the shit from him, right? Like, do you think if Tyron Woodley would have missed weight in his previous fight before he was the champion, he would have got that next title shot? No. Darren Till, okay, the karate guy. Let's go through it. He had to win the belt from Robbie Lawler, the brawler, knocked him out. Okay, who you fight first? The karate boy, Wonder Boy, the karate fucking master. You have to fight him. Super tough matchup. You win the fight, they call it a draw. You gotta fight him again. Wonder Boy gets another opportunity to snatch your title. Then we put him, does he get a money fight, any sort of reward fight for any of this? No, maybe he doesn't deserve one. Okay, everyone else does, right? Cejudo, all of these other people, I get it. What the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying? He still his third title defense. So nobody wants smoke. It's not about him not deserving it. No one wants to fight him. If Conor don't want to fight you, if GSP don't want to fight you for whatever reason, you don't get the money fight. So you gotta fucking put your head down, fight the next contender. Damian Maia, completely new style, grappler. Fuck up your labrum in your shoulder in the fight, stuff every takedown. And so it seems like, what I'm getting at here is, it seems like they've been trying to get the belt off of him. Like, he's not getting any easy fights as the champion. That's not the case. It's like the number one contender after number one contender after number one contender. Ain't no this man's coming out of retirement to fight me for fun. Ain't no 40-year-old contenders getting thrown at him. He's fighting the killers. Even Darren Till, who didn't deserve the title shot. He missed weight in his previous fight. And it was a fight that people thought he lost to Wonder Boy. He gets thrown in there. Let's see if he can fucking beat Tyron. He gets creamed. He gets cleaned out. Woodley keeps the belt. So Woodley wants to fight Covington. Covington has to get something done with his nasal. And so he had to fight Till. Now, Dana White's like, all right, let's fight, get Covington and Woodley to fight. But Usman's the #1 contender. And I feel like Dana White's trying to get the belt off of Woodley because he was like, after he saw that Usman fight, he's like, I don't know about Covington. We might got to get Usman in there. You know, when I was watching the fight, I felt like, yo, if you're Tyron Woodley or Colby Covington and you're watching this Kamaru Usman fight, you're like, yeah, I'm not like dying to fight that guy. Like, yeah, you know, you're a fighter. You got an ego. You're not going to say, oh, he can beat me up. But you're going to say, I'm not dying to fight that guy. It's going to be a good fight with Usman, right? It's not going to be cake by any means. It don't matter who you are. Like, Usman's a legit threat to anybody in that division, including the champion. So, Covington had the nasal spray, whatever, couldn't fight. Well, Tyron Woodley's got a defense under his belt now. So, before he fought Darren Till, it had almost been a year since he defended his belt. So it was coming around to the times where you could almost strip a guy. You haven't fought for a year. Okay, we got to get this division moving. But he came back and fought Darren Till. So now, he doesn't have to fight immediately again. Champions don't fight every 2 months. That's very rare. When Tyron Woodley first won the belt, he fought 4 title fights in 12 months. That was impressive. He didn't really get a lot of credit for that. He still said, oh, you're a boring fighter. Okay. Well, then I'll just be inactive. How about instead of putting on boring fights, I just hold the belt? Pick your poison. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it seems like that's the case because he was injured. And now that it's coming to fighting Covington versus Woodley, we're getting to your point now, Jay Skills. Dana White is saying Tyron Woodley don't want to fight. Covington don't want to fight. He's like, man, I can't get either one of these guys to fight. So we might have to move on. They might book an interim title fight. And if you're Tyron Woodley, I'm sure that's kind of what you're hoping for. In my mind, that's a smart game plan. I've seen it before. Guys at the top, I'm injured. Fucking let these two killers take each other out. And I'm not saying it's a fake injury because, you know, fighters are injured. Like, it doesn't matter. You got an injury. If you want to, any fighter can go into a fight and pull out because of an injury because almost every single fighter goes into the fight injured. The difference is the opportunity. If it's a huge opportunity, you're probably still going to fight unless it's a debilitating injury. But if it's a fight that's not a great matchup and you're like, oh, I can't fight, or like we've seen Tyron Woodley, I'll fight Nate Diaz with this torn labrum, but not this guy. Like, you know, it's like an injury I can fight through, but if it's him, I'm not going to fight through it. We've seen that. And so now if you're Tyron Woodley, you're like, okay, I could fight. Technically, you know, if it was Nate Diaz or somebody, I'd probably fight him. But Usman or Covington, not great matchups. I really feel like my arm is hurting. You know, eventually you're going to have to fight. But right now I need to work out this arm. Go get a doctor's note. Sorry, guys. My fucking arm's killing me. Meanwhile, Usman and Covington got to fight each other. You let them take one of each other out. And Michael Bisping, right? He was injured. Wasn't able to fight Yoel Romero. Darn. Unfortunate for Bisping, right? No. Lucky for you, you're injured. So now what has to happen? Whitaker's got to fight Romero. So instead of Bisping having to fight either one of those guys, or both, right? Because what if you fight Romero, beat him, well, Whitaker's next? You got to fight both those fucking killers. So instead, I'm fucking injured, man. Like, sorry, guys. Like, I just can't fight through this one. This is a bad one. And so now these guys got to fight each other. And that could be going on here at welterweight. I can't fight this one, guys. Now Covington's got to fight Woodley. Covington's got to fight Usman for an interim title. And then Woodley may only have to fight one of those guys. Because if Usman beats Covington, Covington could lose his next fight. Now, he could still have to fight both. But with the way politics works out, who knows? Maybe Usman beats Covington, Woodley beats Usman, and then someone wants to fight Tyron in a money fight. Maybe Conor wants a third belt. Maybe GSP wants to prove he's the best welterweight of all time with no doubt about it. Maybe anything could happen to where it's like, all right, Covington, sorry, now you ain't after Usman because GSP's here or whoever the fuck is here. So, interesting play from Woodley. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, Jay Skills. Dana White, in my opinion, what it seems like, he's like ready for that belt to be off of him. I don't know if it's just because, you know, the relationship they have where it's hard to deal with him, like, or he just don't like Tyron Woodley. But regardless, I hear what you're saying, brother. John Doe says, I would rather see Usman versus Colby. I want to see that fight too, bro. I want to see that fight so bad. I'm not even mad at it. Like, Usman, he really sold that fight to me more than ever. He was like, I would rather fight Colby Covington than fight for the title. That's some scary shit. You already went 9-0, like, title. You were working hard to get into the top 5. You had to get someone to accept a fight with you. Salute to Damian Maia for stepping up and doing that. But it was hard to get into the top 5, and for a lot of these guys, it's hard to get that title shot. Fucking Tony Ferguson, Max Holloway, they got to go 10, 11 fight win streak. Well, Usman's at 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of those guys that's got to go on that huge streak to get to the belt. So, everything that you fucking worked for to get you here this close to the belt, and you would still rather fight Covington than fight for the belt? That's how you know he wants to beat the dog shit out of Colby Covington. He said, I gotta bless that dude with these fucking hands, bro. Like, I really want to see that fight. Marty versus Colby. Oh, yeah. Jay Skew says, ask him calling out Usman and calling him Marty. Yeah, no, Marty was actually his nickname. Before he was known as Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare, everyone called him Marty. Like, when he was wrestling, everyone called him Marty. That's actually was his nickname. But yeah, Ashkin having a little bit of fun with that. Leon Dubson says, hey, gorgeous redheads is in the building. Miss Cam Murphy, the Irish queen in this team. What's going on? All right, guys, let's get back to the show so I can be out of here in a decent enough time to get to work. I'll be working with my brother today. It should be fun. Jimmie Rivera versus Aljamain Sterling. Grudge match booked for UFC on ESPN debut. Can't wait. I'm always rooting for Aljamain Sterling. Gave us the opportunity to interview him once in the past, and I'm grateful for that. You know, and even before that, I was telling you guys, I think he's one of the best bantamweights in the world. Bar a couple split decisions, this guy could have already been fighting for the title. Like, split decisions are a motherfucker. Like, and you know what they say, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. And by the way, that's literally one of the stupidest things ever. Like, what? What the fuck are they here for? They're not going to do their job. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges, so my only chance are to knock this guy out or lose. But you know how that goes. Aljamain Sterling lost 2 split decisions. One of them, he had more takedowns and strikes, but I guess the judges didn't like kicks that night. So he got fucking shit on, robbed, whatever you want to call it, set back. And it sucks. He was undefeated when he lost his first split decision. But his only 2 losses before he fought Marlon Moraes were split decisions. That's it. He could have been undefeated, all of that. And Marlon Moraes, that was no split decision. He got knocked out, dabbed out on him, unconscious. But even that knockout was an accidental kick by Marlon Moraes. He admitted, he was like, yo, I went to go throw a body kick. He ducked. It was just the timing. I didn't even mean to, because it's a pretty brutal knockout. He admitted in the post-fight speech, like, that wasn't even supposed to happen right there. Like, that was one of those wrong moment, wrong time, you know what I'm saying, in the wrong place at the wrong time for Aljamain Sterling. Zigged when he should have zagged. Boom, got caught. But there's never in UFC history been a fighter that's dominated Aljamain Sterling. Yeah, the Marlon Moraes accidental KO, 2 split decisions. So, Aljamain Sterling, phenomenal fighter, phenomenal talent, phenomenal bantamweight, great jiu-jitsu, great striking, great wrestling. There's not much more you can ask for from a well-rounded fighter from this guy. Aljamain just a great fighter, but we're talking about Jimmie Rivera. He's going to be fighting. These guys, this is another fight where one of these guys could be the champion. They're not, for whatever reason, split decision, political. Like, Jimmie Rivera's had to keep fighting these fucking guys because these guys at the top, they don't want to fight. They don't want to fight each other. I was telling you guys about Dominick Cruz, and we're going to talk about that next. Like, Dominick Cruz always is in a position to fight for the belt as long as he doesn't lose. So, convenient injuries seem to be a thing with him. He was supposed to fight Jimmie Rivera. Arm was broken. And, of course, he's not going to go break his fucking arm to avoid a fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. He didn't intentionally snap his fucking arm, but it's just convenient. And for Dominick Cruz, it really sucked because your career's already been plagued by injuries. So now you're already plagued by injuries, injury prone. You've broken your arm in the fight leading up to Jimmie Rivera. But conveniently, though, when it's time to fight for a title, when TJ Dillashaw needs an opponent, Dominick Cruz just happens to, it's like right on timeline with his healing up process. He wasn't out a week before like, all right, I'm healed up. Jimmie Rivera, what's up? Let's rebook this fight. It was TJ Dillashaw needing an opponent, and he was selling that fight. He wasn't trying to rebook the fight with Rivera. Yo, TJ, if you want to be the greatest fighter of all time, bantamweight, you got to beat me. If you want to make the most money possible at bantamweight in a fight, you got to beat me. Dominick Cruz is one of the smartest bantamweights fucking out there. Probably one of the smartest fighters in the world. I mean, trash talk and just fight IQ, everything. He's brilliant, Dominick Cruz is. So he knows how this business works. He knows if he's available when it's time for a title shot, he's probably going to get it. He knows he's got a history with the champion TJ Dillashaw. So you play your cards right. A lot of your managers, if you got a really good manager, they'll tell you this. We're going to wait on this fight. We're not just going to keep running ourselves into these hammers. Everyone in the top 5 of pretty much every UFC division is a hammer. Do you want to keep fighting hammers? And one of these times you're going to be the nail and lose your opportunity? Or you've already got the opportunity if you can just find a way to be inactive. So whether it's an injury or a sickness or just, I need some time, with my family, whatever it is, I'm telling you right now, I can go down every single division and show you a guy who probably could be fighting right now, but they're going to take some time off because of family or injury. And really it's convenient. Because I'm sure whenever it's time for a title shot, you'll be back out raising your hand. Heavyweight, we can look at Stipe, called out by Curtis Blades. He doesn't seem to be wanting to fight anyone except for the title. But if DC was open, would he fight? Yes. We can go to light heavyweight. Gustafsson, he was inactive for a while, waiting on a title shot. He's getting it. It works. We can go to middleweight. The Bispings, the GSPs of the world. We can go to welterweight. I mean, I can literally go down. We can go to featherweight, lightweight, bantamweight, Cody Garbrandt, Dominick Cruz. You know what I'm saying? So now Dominick Cruz, I was surprised. Like, oh shit. I figured he was probably going to be chilling. If he ain't getting the title fight, he's probably going to chill because he knows he's got the title fight coming. He got booked to fight John Lineker. I'm like, okay, he's coming out. He's going to win one fight. That's salute. Well, unfortunately, Dominick Cruz has encountered another convenient injury. Dominick Cruz is injured and his UFC 233 fight with John Lineker is in jeopardy. Dominick Cruz does not have to fight a top 5 contender. He's injured. It's like, at this point, do you, retire? What's going on with these fucking injuries? Can you even count on him to be 100%? He was injury prone before he won his belt back. After he lost the belt to Cody Garbrandt, he's since then had a broken arm, this injury, injury. We know he's got a future. He's already on the broadcast team. He does commentary work. He doesn't even necessarily need to fight. Now, clearly it's in him. He's a fighter. He's always going to want to fight. But with all these injuries and, already kind of having a job secured up, I don't know. I kind of feel like it might be time to move on, man, because these convenient injuries as a fan, I'm like, man, and I'm sure as a fighter, Jimmie Rivera was like, fuck yeah, finally. You could imagine. They've been trying to crack this top 3 for so long, but it's so impossible. TJ Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt, Dominick Cruz, the not love triangle, but the triangle at the top, the alpha male scorned triangle. These guys, none of these guys like each other. They're all fighting for belts. When he loses to him, he fights him. It's like a fucking triangle. It's Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw, Dominick Cruz. These guys have been trying to bust into that fucking title triangle, the triple threat that they got going on up there. The only way to bust into that is to beat one of those guys. But you can't beat one of those guys if those guys won't fight you. Cody Garbrandt, you don't think Lineker or Rivera would love to fight him? Yeah, but it's family time or blackout, maybe injury by now. I'm sure if it hasn't already happened, Cody Garbrandt might be coming out, or he might be getting, I'm not saying coming out with an injury. He just might be revealing an injury, one that I'm sure he's injured. Like I said, I'm sure these guys are injured. Everybody's injured. But it's probably an injury you could fight through if it was worth it. If they said, hey, you can fight Conor McGregor next month or in 2 months, you would probably get in a fight camp and fight because it's a fight with Conor McGregor and you're going to make a lot of money. Or if it's a title fight, TJ Dillashaw, yo, Cody, the fans want to see you and TJ3. You think you can be ready in 2 months? Yeah. Okay, well, TJ's fighting Cejudo. Can you fight Lineker? Actually, I'm trying to get my knee done. Or what about, so it's super hard at bantamweight to bust into that top 3 if you can't get a fight with Cruz and you can't get a fight with Garbrandt because they're always going to have the history over you, which gives them the politics. So if you're John Lineker or if you're Jimmie Rivera, good luck. Or Aljamain Sterling, any of these guys. Like I told you, Aljamain Sterling could legit be fighting for a title. Jimmie Rivera could legit be fighting for a title. But you can't bust into this top 3 without beating one of those guys. And the champion's fighting another champion, and the other 2 guys seem to be waiting on the champion. Because Cody Garbrandt, in my mind, when he's going to pop back up? It's going to be when Dominick Cruz, if Dominick Cruz can beat TJ. Because what that would do is, if Dominick Cruz could become the champion again, we've seen him beat TJ in the past. So if he gets the fight and beats TJ, here's going to come Cody. Hey, Dominick, you remember when I was breakdancing on you? You sure you're the greatest bantamweight of all time? Because I smoked you. You don't remember the pop locking Dominick? Like, you don't remember me fucking breakdancing on you? Bro, I turned the UFC into dancing with the Doms for a night. So Cody Garbrandt's going to fucking throw his hand up there. And you don't think Dominick Cruz is going to want that rematch? Because he's got to prove to everybody he's the greatest bantamweight of all time. And he can't do that unless he beats Cody Garbrandt. So, sorry Lineker, sorry Cruz, sorry Sterling. You guys aren't getting title shots anytime soon. Unless these guys stay injured. Like, it's going to be hard to get a title shot at bantamweight. You see that with a lot of divisions, But hey, it is what it is. We got Jimmie Rivera versus Aljamain Sterling coming up. It's going to be a great fight. And that's what I was saying. This could be a title fight. I look at this like a title fight. Is it a title fight for the casual fans that want to see a belt, a pretty shiny belt? No. But both of these guys are 2 of the best bantamweights in the world. It's going to be a great competitive fight between 2 of the best bantamweights on the planet. That's a title fight. The difference is you don't get to see shiny gold. Either one of these guys could be fighting for the title any given day if it weren't for politics. So this is a title fight for me, and I'm going to be watching it as a title fight because that's how good of a fight this is. I think we got one more thing to talk about. Medical suspensions for UFC 231. Brian Ortega potentially suspended 6 months after that brutal loss. Max Holloway, how could you do that to that beautiful face? No hetero. 6 months. Now, this is interesting. I mean, shit, I wouldn't have been surprised if he was out that long anyway. Because Brian Ortega, he let us know leading up to the fight, and that's why I was more confident. Even through the Drake curse, even through the Kinflow prediction, I was more confident that Max Holloway was going to win this fight. When I heard leading up to the fight, Brian Ortega was talking about fighting Khabib, I'm like, okay, maybe a reporter just asked you. Then he said, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm also going to be the first UFC lead role movie star. That shit's about to start shooting in about 2 months, 3 months. So, Brian Ortega, and I think that's win or lose. I don't think his movie role was contingent on him. Yo, if you beat Max Holloway, we got a lead role for you. Once his face is healed up and shit, I still think Brian Ortega is going to get into the movies. He'll probably have a prominent role in a movie. But, this 6 month suspension, yeah, man, I see it. He got beat the fuck up in there. Max Holloway reminded everybody who one of the greatest featherweights of all time is in there against Brian Ortega, who was undefeated before that fight. Now, with these medical suspensions, just a funny little, yeah, he's suspended for 6 months medically, but honestly, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? These medical suspensions, I get what you're saying. He should sit out this long, but they don't hold. I don't think these are enforced. Right? Most of the time, I'm sure they are. Some of the times, but Derek Lewis and Daniel Cormier, right? They had medical suspensions. Derek Lewis, for sure. He got a medical suspension after that Volkov fight. He was able to still fight. Bisping got a medical suspension after he lost his title to GSP. He still fought. So honestly, you can get medically suspended, and if the UFC needs you, still fight. Now, will Brian Ortega be able to fight in 1 month? Fuck no. But a month and a half, that motherfucker, they might throw him in there. Don't be surprised. Brian Ortega, they're like, what? Brian Ortega's fighting? His face just got tenderized, dog. Why is he fighting? Well, we needed a main event for UFC 235 and fucking boom. We had to call him. He wanted to fight Khabib. Short notice. Don't be surprised if we see Ortega versus Khabib in the first quarter of the year. They're mandatory full-time, meaning you have to abide by it. Wrong. You definitely don't have to. I hear what you're saying. They're not mandatory, though. Maybe in certain states, but if they were mandatory, Derek Lewis or Bisping wouldn't have fought. But they should be mandatory, but I'm pretty sure they're not. Kenshiro MMA. Never in my wildest dreams I had Max so dominant against Ortega. It was one of the dream time fights. Oh, yeah, man, I don't know. I was close. The only really chance I gave Ortega was a submission or a knockout's chance. Like, he wasn't going to, like, as far as technical striking, it wasn't close. Max Holloway's, you know what I'm saying? Like, just there's levels to this shit when it comes to striking. For me, the Ortega's chance came in the grappling or if he got a knockout. Like, before he knocked out Frankie Edgar, I wasn't giving him that chance. But it's like, okay, he knocked out Frankie Edgar. He can knock you out. But unless if Max Holloway was unhealthy. But if it's a healthy Max Holloway, it's going to be a dominant performance. That's what I was saying. Like, if it's a healthy Max Holloway, there's levels to this, and Ortega's just not on the level of Max Holloway right now. And, yeah, he knocked out Frankie Edgar in the first round, but it's a knockout. Do you think he would beat Frankie Edgar the same way if they fought again? You think he would knock him out in the first round? Probably not. If these guys fought 5 times, Frankie Edgar might win 4 of them. He might win 3 of them for sure. Yeah, maybe Brian Ortega catches him in a submission in one of them. He knocked him out the first one. But I give that to Frankie Edgar, a majority of the times. That's just something that happens. You're in the fight game, zig when you should have zagged, boom, you got put to sleep. Jay Skill says, I had Max all week. I should have made the real money on that. Oh, yeah. You had to be a little... The only thing is the health. That's the only thing, man. Like, the weird health issues. We never found out what was going on. Like, that's the only thing that was holding me back, like, is how healthy is Max going to be. Other than that, had the skills. Kenshiro MMA says, Max broke 290 Street Fighter hit combos on Ortega's face. I mean, Max had a dream where he would do that, but it was a dream only. It became a reality at UFC 231. Oh, Rukin! All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to be it for today's show. Oh, shit. We got somebody in here on the troll status. BLT. I got something for you, man. I got something you can put on your motherfucking sandwich if you know what I'm saying. Big slice of these, you punk motherfucker. Get on out of here. Let's see. Is he timed out? Oh, no. That's the type of motherfucker that gets hidden on the channel. He ain't timed out. Let's see. Put user in timeout. No, that's not good enough. Hide user on this channel. Suck my motherfucking balls, homie. We about to get out of here. With that being said, though, guys, I'm probably going to make this stream, like, private and put it over on the Patreon. You know what I'm saying? One of those impromptu, just extra content shows. I didn't even plan on doing this. We just had some things to talk about. So if you were here for the live show, I appreciated you guys. And with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you guys think in the comments. Devontae Bartholomew, salute. Keep up with that college grind, bro. Hope you all the success. Finals coming up, I imagine. Hope you do good on those, bro. We out.